You took this investment in international and U.S. I got to ask for your reaction today.
Obviously, one of frustration. There's no question about it. I'm still a huge advocate for the potential of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. I'm disappointed, like many other shareholders. It sets, in a way, though, I always try and find what is the outcome of something like this. I mean, yes, I'm a shareholder in the international. That's a zero. It's not the first time I've made a bad investment, probably not the last time. But luckily, I make more good ones than bad ones, and I learn from my mistakes. What's going to happen now is there won't be another situation like this for institutional investors ever again. We're simply not going to put capital to work until this stuff gets regulated.
That's not true.
And what is occurring?
All right, so first off, Mo, you said that's not true. Go ahead and say what you mean.
Guys, this is 2000. Similar things happen. Different industry, but similar things happen. I mean, go back to the tulips. And then now it's crypto. In 20 years, it's going to be something else.
So I thought he meant, my personal take on that was he meant about crypto.
Now, with crypto, I still don't know.
No, I don't know either. And I think
because back in June, July, after Voyager happened, this was never going to happen again.
This is the fourth or fifth one this year. Now, here's the other thing. Guys, if you are a fan of crypto, I just ask you one thing. Your goal is deregulation, and he literally just said, basically, we need more regulation. How can you possibly look at this world and say that the goal of something is deregulation, but now we need more regulation on it?
Yeah, I pulled 3 articles on the morning show, and every single one of them was from a crypto bull.
Oh, and by the way, a year and a half ago, you and I were talking about how regulation would eventually happen on this, and that would defeat the whole purpose of it. And now everybody, including the crypto bull, is saying what?
They want regulation. Why is the Fed not coming to the rescue? Why didn't the SEC do more? Because you were anti-SEC. You were anti-Fed. This is what you want. You wanted a new currency that was away from governance.
Yes, and I'm a strict libertarian. I guess not that strict. People say to me, well, why don't you like crypto? Because I just don't think it's a logical solution to, I'm not sitting here saying, let's go to this extreme of no government. I'm just sitting there saying, listen, we just need less government. Do I agree with regulation of crypto? I don't know if I agree with it or not. Probably not to a certain level. But guys, the one thing I do like what Kevin O'Leary said, he said, listen, I got this one wrong. This isn't my worst investment. This is I've had other investments go to zero. This won't be my last bad one, but I've made a lot of good investments. Correct. Mm-hmm. I'm glad he said that. Now, it's ironic to me, though, because when you watch Shark Tank, Mr. Wonderful is Mr. Cash Flow. He's like, I love cash. I love cash flow. What are you getting from crypto?
Right.
And the other thing I'd sit there and say is, yes, you made a bad investment. I get that. But to a lot of value investors, this is beyond obvious that this is a bad investment. We're either very wrong or you're either. I don't think there's an in-between on this one. I think one group is going to be very, very right.
Yeah, it's very black and white.
Now, I will say, I think for crypto to work, it's not going to be in the same form as it is today. I've been saying this a lot in videos lately. Crypto has to work in a totally different way. Charlie Munger said, crypto in the way that people want it is basically a way for people to pay off kidnappers and do Silk Road was a website that was made for underground dealings of drugs, weapons, all that stuff. That was the purpose of Bitcoin, to be able to buy those goods and services without being figured out.
And if you're involved with the SEC, they're not allowing you to do that.
So let's continue on with this video. We're a minute in.
Occurring, and I'm just one voice in it. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to fly to Washington, and I want regulation.
Oh my God.
So
I want it now. No more delaying.
That's a big piece for me.
That just drives me nuts.
It's these people that were so against it. They're like, you know what? I'm going to Washington, and now I'm going to fight because we need regulation. Why? Because I lost my ass.
By the way, I don't know.
So many other people lost their investment.
And I don't know if Kevin O'Leary was totally against regulation before, but if you weren't against regulation, what was the purpose of crypto then?
Correct.
Then what was your whole idea behind it? All I said, go watch our videos in the past, guys. We talked about how El Salvador and I'm taking up Bitcoin was a joke. And people back then were like, oh, this is the best thing ever. And now it's like, well, it's El Salvador. They suck. It's like
small. It was never going to work in El Salvador.
It's like, well, then India banned it. I always said all it's going to take is governments just saying not allowed. And you better effing believe that the more power you give your government, the more power they have to say, we're not accepting this. You're going to by the way, for a long time, crypto was, people were like, oh, I'm not paying tax on my gains. And the government's like, no, you got to pay tax on your gains.
Taxes. They're going to get a piece of it.
You think the government's gonna be like, oh, you got us.
You got me. You got me.
You're fine. You're fine. No, they want their money. Let's keep going.
I think this puts tremendous pressure on the SEC. I think a bill like the Stablecoin Transparency Act, which has been floating around forever, not going to signature, not going to markup, we got to stop doing this to ourselves. As an industry, it has to stop, but also it's time to move forward with regulation. And if this is the bottom of the crypto market. A massive player goes to zero.
It's not.
And now you build from the ashes. That's the upside. I am still going to invest.
Guys, Bitcoin's currently at 16,000 and change. According to this video, it's 16,700. Mark my words. We are not at the bottom of crypto. We are not at the bottom of crypto in its present form. We are not at the bottom of crypto. Could it rebound from here? Absolutely. Just like the stock market. Stock market has seen a nice surge over the last month or whatever. We are not at the bottom of the stock market. Mark my words. Mark this day and time. November 15th, 2022 at 10:44 Eastern time AM. We are not at the bottom. Mo.
So crypto is supposed to be this amazing hedge against everything, and it's proven to just follow with the stock market. So if stocks go lower, crypto will go lower. So it's absolutely insane to say we're at a bottom on crypto.
Yeah.
Just based on that.
Crypto's not been the hedge everybody thought it was. Because crypto's not at all been the hedge. Crypto's down worse than the stock market is, worse than NASDAQ is. This whole thing is a mess. So let's keep going. Ready?
Yep.
In crypto, I lost money in the accounts there. They have a gate on them now. It doesn't stop me from buying more, and I'm going to do just that. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that most of these currencies and tokens and coins have absolute.
Yes, Mo.
So he just said, I'm going to go and demand regulation and this and that. And then he goes, well, I'm also going to go and invest more in this right now. He said he wasn't going to invest unless there was regulation.
So did he say that?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure that's what
I don't think
he said.
I don't. Let's go back and rewind that and see.
Okay.
But
I thought he said that.
To me, it's, boy, this is just bad.
We've been beaten into the ground as a result of this, and probably a buying opportunity. That's the way I look at it.
What do you need to see on paper before you would put fresh money into the space again? An actual bill?
Yes. I want to see it. Okay. I'd like to start.
No, he's saying that now. Yeah. Wait a second. Wait a second. He just said he's going to put more money in. And now they just asked him how much more. What has to happen before you put more money in? A bill? Yes, a bill. It's like, but wait a second. You just said you're going to buy more. There's bill on the table, but it hasn't been signed.
Stablecoin bill's been out there for a while.
I want to do one thing, and that one thing is to pass the Stablecoin Transparency Act. One thing, because that allows us to use the U.S. dollar as a payment system. I would use that in all of my businesses every day. It's far superior to ACH, far superior to SWIFT, far faster, more transparent. 100% audible. All I need is the regulation that forces an audit every 30 days.
So what is the point of a cryptocurrency if it's the whole backup is US dollar?
Less than 12 months of duration. That's one thing. Very simple. That would signal to everybody around the world that the regulators here in the United States are taking crypto on, starting to put rules in place, putting the guardrails on. No one is going to play ball anymore in this space on an institutional level with serious capital till we get it done.
I'm kind of stuck on your comment that you're so confident that this can be the bottom. How can you be confident of that? What do you know about CZ, Binance, BNB Coin? How do you know that it's not leveraged, that there are many more dominoes to fall here? We just had someone from another exchange who hasn't even published their board of directors. You invested in FTX, and that wasn't exactly a wise choice. You said you did due diligence, but clearly it wasn't enough.
They were the adults in the room.
I like it.
You know, no. I mean, look, I'm going to agree. It was a terrible investment, 100%, and I lost my money. I get it. I'm a diversified investor. I make mistakes. This is one of them. But I learned from my mistakes. This won't be happening again. If I'm going to put serious capital to work in a broker-dealer, in an exchange, it's going to be one that's regulated, that has transparency, and has the same rules of test that every other exchange that deals.
I just don't understand. They keep going back to this, every rule of other exchange that are based in dollars. Yeah. So this is just becoming...
becoming
he just talking about ACH. Okay, so you're talking about a payment system. I can get behind the blockchain being a new way of paying people, but I still don't see the purpose of having a separate coin and currency that does that. We can just do that with a dollar. So it defeats the whole purpose of having a separate currency.
Charlie Munger made a great point at their annual meeting. He said, we have a digital currency. It's called the US dollar.
Yeah.
Somebody on the morning show said something about and I'm like, guys, if I want to go draw all my money out of the bank, I can't do that. It's a digital.
Yeah.
And this regulation.
And people are going to look at us saying, you don't
crazy.
get it. It's like, guys, separate the technology from the currency. Just like separate the stock from the company, right? I look at this going, stock price from the company. This is, I just don't understand this. And I love her question. She's like, well, listen, you talked about how you did so much due diligence, blah, blah, blah. And it was, by the way, I remember watching O'Reilly Factor years and years ago. He's like, hey, I researched Enron. I thought it was a great investment. I got it wrong. It's like, well, what'd you do when you researched Enron? People can say they do all day long. They research companies. I had a friend of mine 22 years ago, not a friend, but this big shot who thought he was a genius. I spent 8 months researching GE. It's a great company. It's not like 90%. What'd you research? Now, does that mean you're not going to get it? You're going to get everything right? No. But at the end of the day, when I do my research on something and the price falls, you know what I do? I buy more.
And this one, so I'm looking at this stablecoin bill that he's talking about. It looks like it was proposed in March of this past year.
Okay.
If this is what you were so concerned about, why invest in Bitcoin until there's a law that goes through? If this is the genuine concern.
In fairness, like seeing all these collapses, it does change the thesis a little bit, but I feel like
But this was on the table before the collapses.
Yeah, I think
this was in March.
Yeah, but did any of the collapses happen before March?
I'm sure many of them did. I think that Luna thing did, but I'm talking about like Voyage, like big brokerage houses.
No, yeah,
I'm talking about brokerage houses.
Guys, here's the problem. For those of you out there who love crypto and sit there and say you want regulation because now you see the losses, it's easy to say that. Like in 2008, I remember I had friends of mine who were bragging to me. In 2006, oh, Paul, I'm investing in these real estate deals in Florida. I'm killing it. Every single one of them in their final deal lost all their money, and have several of them sued their people. And I'm like, wait, why are you suing? Well, they lied to us. I'm like, well, wait a second. They didn't. If they lied to you in this last deal, they lied to you in the other deals, but you just got away with it because the market was hot. That's what I mean. People think I'm negative. People think I'm a FUD. It's not a FUD. It's just asking the right questions. Don't let a good market and rising asset prices make you change your perspective of what really matters. What really matters in all this is what are the fundamentals? And with crypto, I don't see any fundamentals. You're talking about this is a way to differ from the dollar, but yet he wants a stable coin, which is actually attached to the dollar.
It's going to be a different avenue.
I feel like I'm in the twilight zone. Yeah, I really just feel like I'm in the twilight zone when I hear this. Well, so that's the end of the video, basically.
The reason you don't get it is because you don't get blockchain.
I know.
So and I do.
All right. Well, either way, guys, thanks very much. Hopefully we'll be talking in 2 years when crypto is a lot lower. I mean, Monish Prabhai in our video,
he said zero.
He said zero, and I don't disagree with them. The vast majority of the 15 or 20,000 cryptos that were created are going to go to zero. What's going to happen with the major ones? Maybe some of them last, but they're not going to be in the same form they are today. They're going to be based on some US dollar, which defeats the whole purpose of a separate currency.
So I think the one crypto that won't go to zero is whichever one is controlled by the government.
Yeah, and that could end up being Bitcoin or whatever big one.
US dollar coin.
All right, guys, thanks very much. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We do a lot of these reaction videos. We do 2 or 3 videos a day. We are awesome. Thank you very much. Take care. There are 3 things that you absolutely need in order to be a successful investor. The proper mindset, the proper emotion, and the proper process. Which ones are the most important?